The Battle of Britain was one of the most critical battles of World War II, a seminal moment that would shape the outcome of the war and the future of Europe. This video will explore the battle in detail, from the build-up to the conflict to the key turning points that would determine its outcome. First of all, World War II was a global conflict that lasted from 1939 to 1945 and involved the majority of the world's nations, including all of the great powers. It was fought between the Allied powers, including the United Kingdom, the Soviet Union and the United States, and the Axis powers, including Germany, Italy and Japan. The war had far-reaching consequences, leading to the deaths of tens of millions of people, the reshaping of the political landscape of Europe, and the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as powers. But before we get into it, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the historical content that we have been putting out recently. We are really trying to grow the channel, and your help would be massively appreciated. The Battle of Britain was a critical turning point in the war and had far-reaching consequences for the outcome of the conflict. It was the first major battle to be fought entirely in the air, and the first time the air power had been used as a primary means of achieving strategic objectives. The battle was fought between the Royal Air Force, the RAF, and the German Luftwaffe, and it was a decisive victory for the Allies, demonstrating their ability to resist Nazi aggression and preserving the freedom of the British people. The bravery and skill of the RAF pilots and aircrew who defended the skies during the battle remains a source of inspiration to this day. In the months leading up to the Battle of Britain, Europe was in the grip of a devastating conflict. Germany had rapidly expanded its territory by invading Poland in September 1939 and quickly overrunning much of Western Europe. By June 1940, Germany had defeated France in only 6 weeks and was in control of much of the continent. The only major nation left standing in Europe was Britain, and the Germans saw the conquest of the British Isles as essential to achieving total victory in the war. The German strategy for invading Britain was based on the concept known as Blitzkrieg, or lightning war in English. The idea to use a combination of fast-moving armoured units and air power to quickly overwhelm the enemy to secure victory. In the case of Britain, the German plan was to launch a massive bombing campaign aimed at destroying the British air defences, crippling their ability to resist a full-scale invasion. The bombing campaign, known as the Blitz, would precede an amphibious invasion known as Operation Sea Lion, which would involve landing troops on the shores of Britain and securing the country. The Germans believed that with the British air defences destroyed, they could achieve a rapid and decisive victory. The German bombing campaign began in earnest on July 10, 1940, and it quickly escalated into a full-scale attack on Britain's cities and military targets. The German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, launched waves and waves of bombers over Britain, raining down bombs on cities, ports and airfields. In response, the Royal Air Force scrambled to defend the skies, launching fighters to engage with the enemy bombers. The intensity of the bombing increased throughout the summer, with the Germans launching massive raids day and night, targeting cities, industrial centres and military installations. The response of the RAF was crucial in determining the outcome of the Battle of Britain and eventually the Second World War. The RAF was heavily outnumbered, but it was well equipped, well trained and well organised. The RAF fighters engaged the German bombers in intense air battles over Britain, and they quickly established their air superiority. The RAF also employed innovative tactics, such as using radar to detect incoming enemy aircraft and using a system of ground-controlled interception to direct their fighters to the enemy bombers. The RAF's tactics, combined with their skill and bravery, proved to be a formidable defence against the German bombing campaign. As the battle raged on, the RAF pilots fought tirelessly to defend the skies and protect their country. Despite being heavily outnumbered, they managed to shoot down large numbers of enemy aircraft, and they prevented the Germans from achieving their main goal of air superiority. The Battle of Britain was a turning point in the war, and it demonstrated the importance of air power in modern warfare. The bravery and skill of the RAF pilots helped to preserve Britain's freedom and pave the way for the eventual Allied victory in the war. The Battle of Britain was a pivotal moment in World War II, and the outcome of the battle had far-reaching consequences for the war as a whole. There were several key moments and events that shaped the outcome of the battle, and each played a critical role in determining the outcome. The first turning point came early on in the battle, when the German bombing campaign failed to achieve its objectives. The Germans had targeted Britain's airfields, hoping to neutralise the RAF's ability to defend the skies. However, the RAF proved to be more resilient than the Germans had anticipated, and they were able to recover quickly from the initial bombing raids. The failure to achieve their objectives forced the Germans to adjust their strategy and switch their focus to bombing Britain's cities in an attempt to break civilian morale. The second turning point came with the introduction of new technologies and tactics. The RAF was able to stay ahead of the Germans by constantly adapting to new developments and incorporating them into their defence strategy. For example, the RAF was one of the first air forces to adopt radar technology, which allowed them to detect incoming enemy aircraft and respond more quickly. They also introduced a system of ground-controlled interception, which allowed them to direct their fighters to the enemy bombers with great precision. These new technologies and tactics helped the RAF to establish air superiority and put Germany on the defensive. The third turning point came with the arrival of new aircraft. Throughout the battle, both sides continued to develop and introduce new aircraft, both coming with their own advantages and disadvantages. For example, the Germans introduced the Messerschmitt Bf 109, which was a highly manoeuvrable and well-armed fighter. The RAF responded with the infamous Spitfire, which was faster and had a higher rate of climb. The arrival of these new aircraft had a significant impact on the outcome of the battle, as each side was able to gain an advantage over the other in certain situations. Another turning point came with the arrival of reinforcements. Throughout the battle, both sides continued to reinforce their air fleets, bringing in additional aircraft and pilots from other fronts. This had a significant impact on the outcome of the battle, as it allowed each side to maintain their strength and sustain the battle for longer. The final and biggest turning point came with the realisation that the Germans were unable to achieve their goal of air superiority. The Germans were forced to adjust their strategy and focus on other fronts, and this allowed the RAF to continue their defence of Britain and secure victory in the battle. The outcome of the battle had far-reaching consequences, both in terms of the war and in terms of the development of military technology and tactics. The victory of the RAF showed that air power was a vital aspect of modern warfare and demonstrated the importance of air defence in protecting a nation. The battle also demonstrated the importance of radar, as the new technology helped the RAF to detect incoming German aircraft and respond more quickly. The legacy of the Battle of Britain is significant in British history. The bravery and skill of the pilots who fought in the battle, many of whom were young and inexperienced, inspired a generation and helped to secure the nation's place in the world. This battle is often considered a key moment in the formation of the British national identity and is often remembered as a symbol of defiance in the face of overwhelming odds. The battle also demonstrated the importance of effective communication and coordination between military units, leading to improvements in these areas in the following battles. In conclusion, the Battle of Britain was a crucial moment in the history of World War II, with a lasting impact on both the war and British history. The outcome of the battle was a victory for the RAF, demonstrating that the Nazi regime could in fact be defeated and inspiring a generation of young people. The legacy of the battle is significant, with its impact on military tactics and technology, as well as its place in British national identity, ensuring that it will always be remembered as a key moment in the history of the country and the world. Thank you as ever for watching this video, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Have a great day.